Have you ever heard the tale of Jonah, the prophet who cried out from the depths of despair? What would it feel like to be swallowed whole by a giant fish or whale? And what would your cry from the depths sound like? Stay tuned until the end of the video to find out. Once upon a time, there lived a prophet named Jonah, also known as Yunus in Arabic. He was chosen by God to deliver a message to the sinful people of Nineveh, a great city filled with wickedness and corruption. But when Jonah began preaching to them, warning them about their evil ways and urging them to turn back to God, they didn't listen. They continued in their sins, mocking him and refusing to change. Frustrated and disappointed, Jonah decided to flee from his mission. He didn't want to deal with these stubborn people anymore. So he went down to the seaport, where he found a large ship heading in the opposite direction from Nineveh. Jonah paid the sailors and boarded the vessel. He settled down, hoping to escape his responsibilities and forget about his failed mission. But soon after they set sail, a violent storm struck the ship. Waves crashed over the deck, winds howled, and the men panicked. They knew that something terrible had happened to upset the balance of nature, and they were scared of incurring the wrath of God. In their desperation, they cast lots to determine who was responsible for angering the divine. And guess what? The lot fell on Jonah. When the sailors realized that Jonah was the cause of their misfortune, they started to panic even more. They demanded that he be thrown overboard, so that the sea could calm down and their ship could stay afloat. Jonah understood that he had made a terrible mistake. He should have fulfilled his mission instead of running away. Now his actions were endangering the lives of the innocent sailors. He didn't want that. He asked the men to spare him, promising to pray fervently and fast until the storm subsided. But they were not willing to wait. They were terrified and desperate to save themselves. As the waves crashed around him, Jonah knew that he had only one chance to make things right. He asked the crew to throw him into the sea because he deserved the punishment, not them. And so they did. With heavy hearts and trembling hands, they lifted Jonah over the side of the ship and dropped him into the churning waters below. He plunged into the darkness, feeling the cold water enveloping him as he sank deeper and deeper. But then something unexpected happened. A giant fish or whale, perhaps a metaphor for the chaos within Jonah's soul, swallowed him whole. Jonah found himself in complete darkness, surrounded by a suffocating darkness. He was trapped inside the belly of the beast with no way out. Fear and regret washed over him as he struggled to breathe in the stifling darkness. At that moment, Jonah realized the gravity of his actions. He had abandoned his purpose and now he was paying the price. But instead of cursing himself or blaming others, Jonah turned to God. He cried out to the Lord, acknowledging his mistakes and asking for forgiveness. In the darkest depth of his despair, he poured his heart out to God. He confessed his sins and begged for mercy. His voice echoed through the darkness, carrying his plea for salvation. Then came the words that became his prayer, words that transcended time and touched the hearts of millions. There is no deity but you. I was truly among the wrongdoers. These words, found in the Quran, chapter 21, verse 87, became known as the cry from the depths. They expressed Jonah's sorrow and his realization of his place in the grand scheme of things. It was in that moment of utter humility that Jonah experienced a profound transformation. His pride and arrogance vanished, replaced by genuine remorse and a thirst for redemption. As the words left his lips, a sense of relief washed over him. It was as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his chest. Jonah's cry from the depths became a testament to the power of repentance. It showed that no matter how low someone could sink, there was always hope for redemption. But would God accept Jonah's plea? Would the whale release him after hearing his prayer? As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the sea, the whale surfaced with Jonah in its mouth. It opened its jaws and gently spat Jonah out onto the sand. He emerged from the whale's mouth, coughing and weak, but alive. He looked up at the sky, tears streaming down his face. He was grateful for God's mercy and forgiveness. He had been given a second chance, a chance to make things right. With renewed determination, Jonah stood up. He was still shaken and afraid, but he knew he had to continue his mission. He couldn't let his people remain in darkness any longer. So, Jonah walked away from the beach, leaving the astonished sailors behind. He headed towards Nineveh, ready to face whatever lay ahead. When he returned to Nineveh, the people listened to him. They acknowledged their wrongdoing and repented of their sins. Because of their change of heart, God forgave them and spared Nineveh from destruction. After completing his mission, Jonah became known as one of the greatest prophets. His story spread far and wide, carrying a powerful message of repentance, forgiveness, and second chances. Even today, His cry from the depths continues to inspire and guide those seeking solace in times of trouble. In the heart of the darkness, when all hope seemed lost, Jonah discovered the true meaning of faith and humility. His journey from despair to redemption serves as a beacon of hope for all who stumble along life's path. Now, why do you think God chose Jonah to be the one to tell this story? Let me know in the comments below. Also, Jonah is considered a minor prophet in the Christian tradition, and his story is recounted in both the Bible and the Quran. In Islamic tradition, he is regarded as a major prophet. Why do you think that might be? Let me know in the comments below. Furthermore, Jonah is one of the few prophets in history who turned away from God and ran from their responsibilities, yet were shown mercy and forgiveness. Can you think of any other stories like his? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, the whale's belly can be seen as a symbol of spiritual darkness and isolation. Jonah's experience in the belly of the beast represents the challenges and struggles that believers face in their walk with God. The darkness symbolizes the unknown aspects of faith and the mysteries of God's plan. Just as Jonah found light in the darkness, believers are called to seek and trust in God even when they don't fully understand His ways. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. May peace be upon you.